and welcome to another Expert Examiner IELTS live stream. My name is Glyn, and in today's live stream, we're just going to do a few speaking tests. Now, as always, whenever I go live, I'm never really sure if I'm live or not. So I will ask people in the chat just to let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me. And hopefully some of those messages will say, yes, I can hear you. A couple of things also before we start. I am a little bit sick, so if I do start coughing or drinking tea during the stream, that's because I had a terrible cold last week. I have recovered, more or less. I feel okay, but I still have some kind of small sore throat and a bit of a cough, but not too bad. Still nobody has said that they can hear me yet. I know there is a little bit of a delay between like the time that I stream and the time that I talk and when you hear me. I think that delay is about 10 or 15 seconds, but I was hoping, okay, someone says sure, Islam says sure. I hope that means sure I can hear you. But I don't know. Would be great just for somebody to say, yes, I hear you. Yes, it is visible. Yes. So a few people, Linux AMV has been a viewer of the channel for a long time, as I remember. So cool. Nice to see some familiar names and some new names. Future Sancho. At least I can hear you. Does that mean you can't see me? I don't know. When people say things like this. Book Lover, that name also rings a bell. I've seen some comments from Book Lover recently. Do remember Book Lover's name since I am a book lover. Okay, so any other news? Well, some of you, if you are a long-term viewer of the channel, you might remember somebody called Brick. He runs the channel How to IELTS. He's back, which is great because he's been away for about 9 months and he's made a course. In the past, I've been critical of people who make courses. However, I will say that Brick's course looks really good. And I'm kind of in that headspace now where I'm thinking, could I make a course? I definitely don't want to do one of those like crazy expensive VIP $300, $400 courses or anything like this. Just something nice, simple, clear, easy to understand. So in the past, I've been critical of courses. I still think if you have money to spend, if you have $300 to spend, it's much better for you to get a group together, find a teacher, work in that group, work with a teacher, work through a course book. But if you only have something like $10 to spend, then, you might find half decent course for $10. So that's on my mind at the moment, but Brick is back, and so I'm really hoping that we can do something together to talk about his course a little bit, but that'll be in the future. Okay, lol, yes, I already took the IELTS exam and got an 8, but your content is too interesting to give up. Yeah, it's an interesting thing about being an IELTS YouTuber is that, the vast majority, 90% of people, of course, who consume IELTS content, they are people who are new to the test, right? So they wake up one morning and they think, oh, I'm going to take IELTS, or I need to take IELTS, or my IELTS test is soon. I'll search on YouTube for IELTS speaking test or IELTS writing or something like this. So the majority of people are new, which makes it difficult to build a community because, you learn IELTS, you take IELTS, you pass IELTS, and then you forget about IELTS for the rest of your life. But not me. I'm I'm stuck with IELTS for a while, I guess. First cough of the stream. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to come in. Sometimes people are a little bit late. If anyone does have a question, then feel free to throw it in the chat and I'll try to do my best to answer it. We will try to take the first, I'll put the announcement out for the first speaking test in about 5 minutes. Depends on how many comments we get, I guess. Just having a look through... Linux, I'm sorry, I'm calling you Linux. Maybe your name, maybe you don't like to be called Linux. Says lol. It's already 9 p.m. I just got out of my full-time job, which is a real pain in the butt. My brain is not working properly. That's okay. I make that editing mistake sometime soon. Sometimes too. It happens. Don't worry. But it's just part of my teacher vibe that when I see a grammar mistake, I often want to read it back to the student and ask them, those concept check questions, or ask them to repeat to draw attention to it. It's just a teacher habit. Drinking tea with hibiscus at the moment. I accidentally bought too much of the stuff, too much of it. A few more people coming in. Hello, Farhod. Hello, Islam. Islam says that they took the IELTS speaking yesterday, or they took an IELTS yesterday. If it's the speaking, it would be interesting if you let me know what themes came up in the speaking test. I'm always curious to see. I did a live stream last week with Arina, and one thing I love about her Telegram channel is she has spies all over the world, it seems, because almost every day we get something on Arina's channel, her Telegram channel, but these questions were in the IELTS speaking test today. This was the IELTS writing task today. So it's really cool that she keeps people up to date with that. And of course, we get the first fantastic question: how many we should use in IELTS speaking? How many we should use in IELTS speaking? No idea what that means. Jessica asks, how do you choose people for speaking? Do you use randomizer, or it's based on who you want to choose? It's always based on a randomizer. I used to do this live. I used to show people exactly how I choose it. So Jessica, I put on my Telegram channel, I say, hello, who would like to be the first candidate? And then people respond. Now, this is why I ask people to leave only one response. Everybody responds, and then let's say we have 15 candidates who respond. I then go to Google and type in random number generator. I type in between 1 and 15, then I close my eyes, I press generate a number of times, and then it will generate a number between 1 and 15. If it's number 7, I go back to Telegram and I count which person is number 7 on the list, and that's the person who's selected. It's the fairest way I can do it. I try to. It's completely random. So yeah, not based on nationality or gender or age or who I like or who I don't like. Nothing like that. Just purely random. So the question is, how many idioms should we use in IELTS speaking? For me, the optimal number of idioms is 0. If we're talking about long idiomatic, sentences, proverbial sentences, things like this. You might see in Band 7 of speaking vocabulary, they mention for the first time the use of idiomatic language. Idiomatic language is not the same as idioms. It's something I repeat over and over and over again. Idiomatic language means language that sounds natural to a native speaker. Right, you can look at the dictionary definition of idiomatic language, language that sounds natural to a native speaker. So at Band 7, we start to hear the type of phrasing that's kind of normal for a native speaker. So things like, I got back from work late last night. I got back from work. People at Band 6 or lower, maybe they prefer using Latin words. I returned after work to my home very late last night. That's not so idiomatic. I got back home is idiomatic. I returned is less idiomatic. So at Band 7, we're looking for natural vocab that sounds a bit more like an L1 user. It doesn't mean that you need to use things like the grass is always greener on the other side, or that's not my cup of tea. It's a myth. It's a complete misunderstanding of the... It's a complete misunderstanding of the band descriptors. One of the things was describe an occasion when you took care of young children in Part 2. Yeah, they're getting a little bit tougher, aren't they, those Part 2s? They should be universal. It should be something that we've all had experience of, but maybe most adults have had some experience of taking care of children, whether it's babysitting or something like that. But I could imagine that there are some people out there who are like 15, 16, who maybe don't have that experience. So tough. Okay. I don't see any further questions in this. So just to make that announcement to you guys, I'm now going to go to my Telegram. And I'm going to post in there. I'm going to post in there. If you are watching the stream right now and would like to be today's first speaking candidate, please reply to this message with one suitable response, i.e. me or interested. If people start spamming and putting in multiple responses, you will be disqualified because it affects the randomization process. Also, please don't beg. Some people beg and they say, please, 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 I have my exam tomorrow. Please, please choose me. Please, this is really important. It's random. So please don't do that. Don't try to make me feel guilty for not selecting you. It's random and everyone should have an equal chance whether your exam is today or whether you're never going to take it. This is free. It's available for everybody. If you really, 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 really want my feedback, then go and pay for a speaking test. They're really cheap at the moment, £25. And for that, you get like an hours-long call with me where we have the speaking test and immediate feedback, and you also have a feedback video. So it's about £25 for more than 2 hours of my work. So, yeah, for me, that's incredibly cheap. Prices will go back up in February. So, yeah, if you really want a speaking test, a mock test, you really, really, really want it, go and pay the money. If not, if you're just interested in the free stuff, that's absolutely fine. There will be plenty more of these live streams. Anyway, I've put that in the Telegram chat now. I've put in there if you want to be... What? 0 idioms? What are you saying? Yep, I'm saying 0 idioms. That's what I'm saying. For me, the optimal. If I was doing the speaking test, I would use 0 idioms by, like, the layperson's definition of idioms. Things like, that's not my cup of tea, or that's the way the cookie crumbles, or it's raining cats and dogs. I would use 0 of those. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. They always sound weird. Study with Chabot says, what kind of... these general questions are so weird. What kind of advice would you give for a Band 6 examiner? A Band 6 examiner who is registered candidate, I guess, for an exam after 2 months. I want 7 as much as possible. The advice I would give is, if you're not a C1, if you're a B2 and you want a score of C1, my advice is forget about IELTS. That's my first bit of advice. Forget about IELTS until your English level is there. When your English level is there, then take IELTS. This idea that we can improve our language proficiency in a month or 2 months, it's insane. The advice I would give, if I had to give some advice, I'd say focus on accuracy over range. I think too many people make the mistake of focusing on range. For me, the Band 7 descriptors, for me, are very, very generous when it comes to C1. So the reason people don't get Band 7 in vocab is because of the accuracy. They use a bunch of weird language that sounds odd. And the reason people don't get a Band 7 in grammar is because of accuracy. They make too many mistakes with basic grammar. Don't worry about trying to use complex grammar. In most cases, if you don't know it, you'll make mistakes with it. Focus on things like the verb to be, past simple, getting third person S correct. That's the stuff that most Band 6s miss. Yeah, don't speak too quickly. Use very, very simple ideas. Band 7, you can get a Band 7 with very, very simple responses. What kind of music do you like? I really like rock music. My favorite band is Led Zeppelin. I listen to them every day. Is there any type of music you don't like? Yes, there is. I really don't like hip-hop music. I don't know why, but it sounds very aggressive for me, and I'm not a big fan of aggressive music. That's all you need for a Band 7. But can you control that? Can you control that through the test? That's the challenge. So yeah, the short form is, what advice would I give you? My advice I would give is don't don't register for a test until your level is ready for it. But if I had to give other advice, I'd say keep ideas simple and focus more on accuracy rather than range, but, you know, a bit easy. So we've had 21 or 20 responses to this. I just want to check that people aren't posting multiple times. Let's have a look. Mirok Bill says me, please. Okay, that's not quite begging, is it? Okay, cool. So it looks like we have quite a few candidates. A lot of Uzbek names there, which is always nice to see. Always good to see that the candidates from Uzbekistan are still supporting me after all this time. Book Lover says I'm stuck between 6.5 and 7. Yeah, most people do feel like they get stuck there. Some people are still asking questions. I'm not going to answer these questions right now because I'm going to choose a candidate right now. And during the speaking test, obviously, I can't answer questions during the speaking test either. Maybe in that gap between the time that a candidate is chosen and... yeah, maybe I'll be able to answer some of those questions in a moment, but right now I'm going to choose a candidate. So I'm going to go to Google and put random number generator. Now I have the generator up. I'm going to just check again how many candidates are in. 19 submissions between 1 and 19. Now I close my eyes and I click generate a number of times, and the number we have is 5. So who is number 5 on the list? Oh, Blacknet just wrote, but Blacknet is too late. Who is number 5 on the list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is Sanjarbek Ruziev. So I'm going to write to Sanjarbek. Congratulations. You've been selected as the first speaking candidate. I'm now going to give you I'm going to write to you personally, and I'm going to give you the link to join me on Zoom, and you'll have 2, maximum 3 minutes to join me on Zoom. If you're not here in 2 or 3 minutes, then I will select a different candidate. Hi. You can join me here. So let's see. Previously, of course, on this channel, we've had some issues where some candidates don't turn up, even though they've won, even though they've been selected. For some reason, maybe they have connection problems, or for whatever reason, they don't turn up. While we're waiting, oh, Sanjarbek is online. While we're waiting for that, I'm just going to go back to the chat to see if there are any questions that I can answer. Is fluency more important than others? Nope, they're all connected. Fluency is connected to vocab and grammar and pronunciation. They're all connected. It's why we don't see... it's why we don't see scores of like 4 for vocabulary and 9 for grammar. It just doesn't happen that way. There's a kind of a bi-directional or a multi-directional relationship between those things. It's just Sancho entered the waiting room. So let's get Sancho in. A few more questions there, but I will get to those in a moment. But first, we should welcome our first candidate. Any second now. Boom. There we go. Hello, can you hear me okay? Ooh, I can't hear you. I can see you, but I can't hear you. You're muted at the moment.
Now?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly now. Are you on the... Where are you?
I'm on the car. I'm sorry. I'm really excited, but...
So you're going to do the speaking test in a car?
Yeah, because I'm coming from swimming pool, so I'm going to home on the way.
Okay, cool. You're not driving, are you?
Yeah, no, I'm not driving. My parents, my mother is driving.
Okay, a bit weird, but never mind. We'll get over it. Before we start our test, can you just tell us something about yourself? Like, what's your name? Where are you from? And what are your plans connected to IELTS?
All right. My full name is Ruziev Sanjarbek. I'm from Uzbekistan. Currently, I'm a student in Lyceum. I'm planning to take IELTS to study abroad.
Cool. Do you know what score you'll need to study abroad, and have you decided which country you'd like to go to?
Not yet, but I think about the band score. I think I need overall 7.5.
Cool. So probably you've done some practice tests. Usually the easiest way to 7.5 is to get like 8 in the listening, then you get like 8 in the reading, maybe you get 7 in the speaking and 6 in the writing, something like this. So how are your scores for the other parts? Like how are your scores for reading and listening usually?
Recently, I took mock exam in my learning center. It was 8, band 8 in listening, 7.5 in reading, 6.5 in speaking, and 5.5 for writing.
Okay, so your writing is really the thing that you should be working on.
Yeah,
Did you get much
sure.
did you get much feedback on your speaking? Like, did you get an explanation of your score, and did the mock examiner give you any feedback, like about the things that you need to improve?
No, they just only judge me.
They judge your English, right? Not you and your.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So they just give you the mark. They didn't say like, okay, your grammar's good, but your okay, just the mark. Okay. All right. And just before we get into the test, what do you see as some of your strengths or weaknesses, specifically as a speaker of English? Like, do you think your fluency is good? What do you think of your pronunciation? Is your grammar accurate? Or
I think I can speak naturally, but I do often mistakes on grammar.
I
Uh,
do often mistakes on grammar. Yeah, I hear it. How is English grammar for you? Is it because I've studied some languages, and some languages the grammar is quite easy. Other languages like Russian, the grammar is very difficult. How do you feel about English grammar?
it's easier than Russian actually, but uh, I think the reason why I do mistakes is I want to speak naturally without thinking about grammar,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
like in my native language.
Cool. All right. So, obviously you've had a mock test before. You're familiar with the format of the test. We will start our test in a moment. First of all, do you have any questions about the test or any questions about anything else before we start?
Not, we can start.
Cool. So I will remind you that in part 2, you will have a minute preparation time for your talk. Obviously, you're in a car, so I don't know if you have a pen and piece of paper to jot down ideas or if you'll do it in your head or whatever. I'll also let you know
Don't worry.
that the cue card for part 2 I'll send in the Zoom chat. So that's where you'll see the cue card in the Zoom chat. It's not there right now, but in part 2 it will be there. Sometimes candidates need, a few seconds to navigate Zoom to find it. If you need a few extra seconds to find the cue card, that's absolutely fine. There's no reason to stress. But okay, shall we start?
Glenn, you are.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Glenn, I lost you, I think, because you are lagging somewhere.
I can hear you. So on my side, you're freezing. I'm going to go and ask the chat. Dear chat, who is lagging? Is it me or is it the candidate? You seem to be moving again.
Sorry, I got lost you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Can you see me?
Yeah, can you see me?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So,
Sorry, I think it's my connection, but I think we can start.
I think so too. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to pull up the test. Okay, yeah, test 1. Good evening. My name is Glyn. Would you please tell me your full name?
My full name is Ruzip Sanjarbek.
And what should I call you?
Just Sancho.
Okay, thank you, Sancho. Now, in this first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Where do you live?
I live in Uzbekistan, in the capital of Uzbekistan, Tashkent.
Do you like living in Tashkent?
Yeah, I do like live in Tashkent because of its huge, impressive buildings, convenient public transport, and its facilities.
And are there a lot of tourists in Tashkent?
Uh, I wouldn't say so because Tashkent is like the megapolis, but uh, in Uzbekistan there are other cities where tourists more often visit,
Mhm. And
like Samarkand and Bukhara.
do you think you'll continue living in Tashkent in the future?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm thinking about it because I'm planning to move abroad, but we'll see. Nobody knows who's gonna what's gonna happen. But I wish I would live abroad.
Mhm. Let's move on and talk about shopping now. Do you like shopping?
Uh, Not really. I'm not really into it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Uh,
Why don't you like shopping?
uh, because it takes a lot of time, and especially money, which I don't like to spend on clothings or something that I wear not much really time, and uh, that's it.
And do you prefer shopping online or in physical stores?
Uh, I would prefer physical stores because recently I tried to buy clothes online, the marketplace called Uzum, and uh, the clothes I bought uh, wasn't the size that I wanted.
Hmm. And have you bought anything nice recently?
Clean.
Have you bought anything nice recently?
Um, I don't know. Like I can't remember that I bought something nice. Oh, actually, I actually bought a brand new hoodie from the brand, our local Uzbek brand, just, and I brought it. I bought it in the market. Um, if I'm not mistaken, 2 weeks ago.
All right, let's talk about walking now. Do you think you walk quickly or slowly?
Oh, I walk quickly, and all of my friends say it's me. Say that.
Mhm. And do you prefer walking alone or with other people?
Um, it depends on my mood. If I'm not really into good mood, I'd prefer to walk alone, just with my AirPods on. But whenever I feel alone, I really love to walk with my friends, especially in the parks.
And do people in your town like walking as a form of exercise?
Um, for elderly people, yes. For youngs, no, because we just walk to hang out. That's it.
And do you have a lot of nice places to walk in Tashkent?
Um, yeah, there are a lot of places that I can visit, but they are far away from my home. But as I mentioned before, I like to walk in the parks. Um, that one is the near to my house, and there are lots of places to visit.
Okay, thank you. Now, in this next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to speak about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. But before that, you'll have 1 minute to prepare for your talk, and you may take notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yeah, sure.
I will now share the topic in our Zoom chat.
Mhm.
Can you see the topic?
Yeah, I can see the topic. Describe a time
Mhm.
when you help someone.
I'd
Yeah.
like you to describe a time when you helped someone. Your 1 minute of preparation time starts now. Okay, so that's the end of your preparation time. To remind you, you'll have between 1 and 2 minutes to give your talk, and I will let you know when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Yeah, for sure. Um, the time I want to talk about is and months. It was months ago. I was helping to my niece, whose name is Jasmine. I was helping her with her general English, and she was preparing for our national um, English test. It's called SEFR and multi-level SEFR, and the way I helped her was just improve her um, reading comprehension and listening skills. I'm not really good at speaking and writing, so I tried my best to give her my best sides. And actually, and then while helping, I noticed that she couldn't find answers just because she didn't know how to answer them. So I tried to help her by not focusing in English, but in general task response. Um, and it helped. Recently, to be perfectly clear, a week ago, she got results and she got B2 certificate in our national system. Uh, I, when I first hear about it, I was so proud of her. Um, Actually, I also had this kind of exam before her a year ago, and to compare it, I felt more proud of her than myself when I got it. So I don't know, maybe
Okay, thank you.
it's kind of because she's really close to me.
Thank you. All right, so you've been talking about a time when you helped your niece with her English exam.
Um,
Let's talk a little now about helping other people in society. Do you think people nowadays are very helpful to others? If there is someone in the chat, can you let me know if I am freezing or if the candidate's freezing? Because it seems that my internet's working okay. Hmm. The candidate appears to have disappeared.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I think it's because of network.
Maybe. Well, I'll go to the
And you are lagging again for me.
I'll go to
Yes.
I'll go to part 3. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay or no? No? Okay, I'm going to have to remove you from the Zoom, unfortunately. Okay, so let's give some feedback. So unfortunately, I made this point so many times. I used to give these free speaking tests on YouTube, right? And this happened all the time where candidates would come from a car or from the street or from a park, and the connection would break down. And then unfortunately, it ended up being a waste of time. It's frustrating, but it's good that you guys get to see this for yourselves. This is very typical. This is very typical of what happens when you offer things for free. People don't take it seriously. People do it from their cars, and it's like, well, if your connection isn't stable, why are you really doing this? Because you're kind of stopping someone else with a stable connection from being able to do this. So it's unfortunate, but that's life. So to give some, without looking at part 3, I can still give some feedback, and I can give some projected scores. So the first thing I think is noticeable about the candidate is, and I hope the candidate's watching, the hesitations, right? In part 1, I get quite a few hesitations. I can understand his feelings, yeah. So I think maybe the candidate's even writing, I'm not sure, but I don't have time to read messages right now. So some feedback. The candidate's hesitations are very, very noticeable, that he kind of speaks a little bit like this, and it always seems like he is like reaching for the next word. This mostly affects fluency and coherence, but it can affect pronunciation a little bit too, because it blocks your stress timing. So if you have a lot of hesitations is having a video on non-negotiable? Yeah, it is non-negotiable. I don't have a camera on it. Well, yeah, sorry. It's a live stream, right? People, I want to see people. Sorry. But anyway, I'm going to stop reading the chat, and I'm just going to give feedback. So fluency and coherence for me is a 6. I don't think we can say that the candidate can speak smoothly at length without relying on a lot of those hesitations. The answers in general are pretty good. The coherence is good. The answers are relevant. They're appropriately extended. But for me, the fluency brings it down to a 6. In terms of grammar, I think the grammar is probably closer to a 6 too. There are some attempts at higher level bits of grammar, like the candidate says, I wish I would move abroad. And it's like, okay, the candidate's showing some awareness of this construction, wish somebody would do something, but that's not how we use wish somebody would do something. Wish somebody would do something is usually used when we're annoyed, right? I wish you would be quiet. I wish you would stop talking. That's how we use wish I would be. So the candidate's kind of mixing up constructions. It should be, I'm hoping to move abroad, not I wish I would. So some attempts there, but also some basic mistakes like I am not enjoy. It's like I am not enjoy. We would expect C1s to have, better control of the present simple, but, a lot of the grammar was fairly accurate. I think the candidate said I firstly hear about it instead of heard about it, so sometimes mixing up present and past. And for me, that's kind of a cap that I don't usually award C1 to candidates that can't reliably use present simple and past simple appropriately. And that's the bit of advice I mentioned before this candidate came, is that I would focus on grammatical accuracy more than range, because, not using present simple and past simple correctly, that's going to be a blocker if you want to get that band 7 or higher. So for me, grammar is 6. Vocab is a little better, probably just about at that, it's 6 or 7. I'm on the fence, because there were some things like the candidate used facilities. And I mention this in every test that I have with candidates from Uzbekistan and with many from Bangladesh. When you tell me my city has a lot of facilities, I don't know what that means. And people need to stop saying it. I don't know what it means. Have a lot of sporting facilities, fine. Entertainment facilities. Putting an adjective, a pre-modifier before facilities, that works okay. But just saying my city has a lot of facilities, it is not idiomatic. It doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound normal. It sounds odd, at least to my ear. But, we did get, be good at. A lot of people often get that wrong. The candidate got that right. Candidate says focusing in instead of focusing on. So there are some limitations there. But on a generous day, I would probably award the 7 for vocab. I really want to see how it goes in part 3, though, because, that's really where you get the chance maybe to expand a bit more. So I'm on the fence between 6 and 7 for vocab, and for pronunciation, probably there is enough there for a 7. It might be the case that in part 3, when the fluency drops a little bit, that the stress timing might become more of a problem. But for me, the phonology is really, really strong, and the clarity is really, really good. I think there is enough for a 7 for pronunciation. So for me, it's either 6667 or 6767, which puts him at 6.25 or 6.5. So similar scores to the one that he got in his mock test. Perhaps the mock test was a bit generous. I don't know, but I could see potentially the candidate getting 7 for pronunciation, getting 7 for vocab. I don't see him getting 7 for grammar, though. I think that's going to be a tough thing. It's one of the most difficult things for anyone to do, is to tighten that control of basic grammar. Because if you can't control basic grammar, it's going to be tough. Fluency and coherence, learning to speak without hesitations, that's also a tough thing. So I definitely see that ceiling as like 7. 6.5 seems to be, that's what I think he'll get. 6 I can understand. 6.5 I can understand. I don't think he'll get 7, and I don't think he'll get 5.5. That's my feedback for this candidate. But we didn't get part 3, unfortunately, so I can't say for certain, but that's my impression. I'm going to go back to the chat and see if there's anything there. He is lagging. Cool. I'm glad it's me. I'm glad it's him, not me. Let's have a look. Oh, there's people chatting amongst themselves. Yeah, I don't see. Fatima says, I want to give a speaking test with you. Candidates are selected from the Telegram channel. So if you want to have, not give, but if you want to have a speaking test live on the stream, the candidates are selected from the Telegram channel. How do I find the Telegram channel? Well, it's written right there. It's also written... It's written in the description of the video, so you can find the Telegram channel there. That's where I find the Telegram. That's where I find the candidates. What do you guys think? 6.5, does that seem reasonable? A little bit below the C1, probably more of a B2 than a C1. I don't know. Can I apply for the second speaking test? Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you were not selected for the first one, of course you can apply for the second one. When I say that you can't put multiple responses in there, what I mean is multiple responses to the first announcement. But yeah, everyone's welcome to apply for the second one. Future Sancho, who is the candidate, says, thank you for having me and for your feedback. Yeah, thank you too, but a little bit disappointing that you took this chance away from someone else by applying in your car. I would like to remind people, please, and I can't like check this, right? Please only apply for the speaking test if you have access to a stable internet connection. Now, if I was in a car, I would think, okay, this is probably not the appropriate time, because I know I can't rely on my internet connection when I'm in a car, because weird things happen, and also it's not the most convenient place. So I would ask, but I can't. It's for free. People will do what they do. People with unstable internet connections will post. So Liniac says, no, I meant, can I apply even though I don't have a camera on? Nah, just keep watching. I won't. Last week we had a candidate without a camera, and there was a suspicion that maybe he was reading something. And yeah, the short answer is it's a live stream. For for the benefit, for the sake of the content, I don't want to do faceless speaking tests. Sorry. So yeah, winning candidates who come on without a camera will be asked to leave. Fatima says, "Give Telegram channel, please." Now, Fatima, I will say, look here. There's the Telegram. Also, if you can't work that out, look in the description of the video where you'll see a full link to the Telegram channel. You have to help yourself a little bit, right? You have to do something. I can't do it all for you. I can't go to your country and pick up your phone and join Telegram for you. You have to do some of this yourself. Why would I read off a script? I'm not saying you would read off a script. I'm just saying that some candidates do that. And also, I just think it looks bad for me. And it's, sorry, but it's my live stream and I want to see faces on the live stream, not black backgrounds with no faces. Sorry. Yeah. Frustrating, I know, because maybe you think, but no, sorry. Them's the rules. Study with Shabos says, sorry, I just thought of a meme. Arena says 6.0 for sure. Yeah, maybe 6.0. I think the pronunciation is at a 7. I think everything else justifiably a 6. But yeah, 6.0, 6.5. You shouldn't give a chance to him because he was in a car. Well, I mean, coders, what? I don't. It's free, right? That's what happens when things are free. Where do I draw the line? Some people then will say that's not fair. He had the chance and he's been waiting a long time and now blah 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 blah. This is what happens when things are for free. And even if you, what am I supposed to do? You're in a car, go away. Maybe I need somebody who's making rules for me. But okay, but that's unfortunately that's what happens when things are for free. I will make that point. People have told me over and over and over and over again, don't do things for free because nobody takes it seriously, or many people don't take it seriously, and you will end up wasting a lot of time. But it's a live stream. Everyone gets an equal chance, and what will be, will be. However, I think we are ready. Oh, can we start now? Because we will have more time. Yosin Beck, I really don't like it when people tell me what the schedule of my live stream should be. So we'll start when I'm ready to start, not when you say we're ready to start. I like to have a little bit of a break between candidates, to have a little... I'm not even going to explain it. Yosin Beck, we are going to start right now, but please don't tell me how I should run my live stream. Anyway, let's get to, because Yosin Beck has spoken, let's get to the next candidate. I'm going to write in Telegram right now. Oh, we've had quite a few other people posting afterwards. People saying super interested when it was already too late. That's a pity. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my Telegram and I'm going to paste in this. Let's have a look. If you are watching the stream right now and would like to be today's second speaking candidate, please reply to this message with one suitable response, i.e. me or interested. Cool. There you go. That's in the Telegram right now. Now, Yosin Beck, if it's okay with you, my friend, if it's okay with you, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait just a few minutes for some of those applicants, those candidates to put their names forward, and then I'm going to chat a little bit to people who may have questions. So if you do have a question, get it in now, and I'll try my best to answer. In a few minutes, when we have enough candidates in, I will select another candidate, then they will come on with their internet problems, and we'll get through half a speaking test again. Maybe, if we're lucky. Liniac says I'm too generous. No, I'm a YouTube person, right? I'm on YouTube. I'm looking for content like everyone else. Of course, it's nice to give up my time, but my hope is that, I'll give up my time and I'll become a bit more popular on YouTube and I'll show myself to be useful, and then I can use that for something. It's not all selfless stuff. Anyone who's on YouTube is kind of looking for something, whether that's money or credit or appreciation or fame or something. Everyone's always looking for something. So it's not just generous. Can I ask a question about writing? Sure. Okay. No one else has a question, so why not? Go on, Arina. Ask your question about writing. I hope it's a good question, though. I hope it's one I can answer, because sometimes people say, how do I get better at writing? And I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that, especially in like a 30-second response. We for sure appreciate you. Okay, cool. I'm glad, always happy to be appreciated. Thank you. Oh, you see, Fatima, you've not followed the rule, have you? You said, me, please, from Bangladesh. After 10 days, I have my exam. Now, in the instructions on the Telegram, you'll see a few important rules. Don't send multiple responses. Don't beg. Please, sir, I have my test tomorrow, please. Fatima, I know you've just joined, so I won't disqualify you for that, but it's random, right? It's the winner of the speaking test is not the person who asks the nicest. It's not like that. The candidates are selected at random. And back in the chat, what's your IELTS score? I don't take IELTS. I'm an examiner. I'm an English examiner. I don't take exams. It would be really strange. I have thought about maybe just taking it just for fun, just to see, what it's like to be an applicant. But I'm a linguist, I'm an English teacher, I'm an examiner, I'm a teacher trainer, I'm a materials writer. IELTS is not for me to take. IELTS is for L2 users to take, not for L1 users. Sancho apologized. Okay, cool that you're sorry. Yeah, thank you for apologizing. I appreciate it, but thank you. Still waiting for it. Oh no. Let's see. We do have a few questions here. Let's try and go through them quickly. In your next videos, can you recommend any vocabularies? No. That's not how IELTS works. It's a proficiency test. You don't recommend vocabulary or structures. You don't. I feel like you don't understand what IELTS is. Oh, it's for writing. It would be helpful. No. If I give you vocab, use this vocab in IELTS writing. The whole point of IELTS is to give you a variety of different topics so that you can't pre-learn bits of vocab that you can use in any test. I will say, go and watch my videos on writing, especially the ones on like how to make an introduction. That's really useful. But if you're looking for vocabulary and structures, this is not the YouTube channel for you, because that's not how IELTS works. It's not like I have a secret list of structures and vocabularies that you can use to get a higher mark. Subscribe to IELTS with Juva. I think that's the YouTuber. IELTS with Juva. She does that. She gives you like 50 synonyms that you can use in IELTS for a higher score. If that's the content you want, go and watch her videos. Can you reply to me? Should I state my opinion in task 2? Task 2 of what? The writing? It depends on the essay type. If the essay question asks you to give your opinion, you should give your opinion. If it doesn't ask you to give your opinion, you don't have to give your opinion. Madness, absolute madness. Okay, Arina says, listening, reading are marked depending on the difficulty of the test. That is true. We call it marking on a curve. What about writing? No, writing is not marked on a curve. It doesn't matter what other people get. With listening and reading, sometimes, for example, you might need 31 to get a band 7. Sometimes you might only need 29 to get a band 7. That's not the case with writing. Yeah. Not the case with writing. Writing is just marked by an examiner, same with speaking, not marked on a curve. Killer Joker asks, if you can understand me without difficulties, what score can I get in pronunciation? Typically 6 is like, okay, it's clear, I can understand you without difficulty. Usually that gives you a floor of a 6. What's the highest you can get? 9. So between a 6 and a 9 if the clarity is good. Future Sancho says, I honestly didn't expect to be selected this time. That's what all candidates tell me, Future Sancho. You wouldn't believe how many candidates didn't turn up for their speaking tests and then wrote to me like a day later saying, oh, sorry, I never thought I would be selected. That's what I hear all the time. No one thinks they're going to be selected, Future Sancho. That's the thing, right? That's the thing with having a 1 in 20 or a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 30 chance. Everybody thinks it's not going to be me, but then it's always someone. And, are examiners taking into account the level of difficulty of the task? No, Arena. In some, now I've worked on some exams where we do get marking notes where we say, actually, we tested this and we realized that some candidates have big difficulties with this question. So for this question, we're going to be a bit generous. If they go off topic, if they misunderstand it this way, we're going to be a bit generous. We're going to allow this. IELTS isn't like that. It's not an achievement test. It's a proficiency test. And so examiners we don't get that feedback from higher up that says, okay, you need to be a bit more generous here. It's not like that at all. Hopefully the script writers do their job and, don't have these tricky questions, but for sure, some essay questions are insanely difficult, whereas others are a bit more straightforward. Maybe it's a bit unfair, but no, they don't take into account the difficulty of the task. At least they're not supposed to. One of my favorite types of questions. I have a problem with reading. I'm an examiner, but I don't know why you would trust me to give you advice on reading. I understand almost all the words in the text. Sometimes I translate incorrectly or don't understand. My level is stuck at 6.57. How can I improve? If your level for reading is stuck at 6.57, almost certainly this is a grammar and vocab issue. Almost certainly is a grammar and vocab issue. How can I improve is not a question I can answer immediately. The simple thing is do more reading, find texts that are challenging for you. I would probably go up through the levels. I would do some B1 reading, first of all, to build my confidence. Then I would go into B2 reading, see how I do, see what I have difficulty with. Then I would go into C1 reading and try to understand what's going wrong. Work with the teacher to analyze where you're going wrong in the reading and then find a strategy with your teacher. I don't know you, Jamaldinova. I don't know what your problem is. You say you understand almost all the words. I doubt that. I doubt that. If you're stuck at 6.57, 6.57 is still a very respectable score, but that's probably just a reflection of what your level is. Learn with Atikvai says, I scored 7.5 in bit 7 in BLT 7. Okay, cool. Congratulations. 7.5 is amazing. Akhtar says, or do we need use general line? That's connected to his previous question. Can you reply to me, should I state opinion in task 2? For some questions that require your opinion, you have to. For others, you don't have to give an opinion. You can just use like a thesis statement, like saying what you're going to talk about in the essay. Akhtar, I do have a video. If you search my channel for, I think, like writing introduction, you'll see a very clear breakdown of how to write introductions for different IELTS writing task 2 questions. It's a very, very useful video. It doesn't have a huge number of views, but it's a very, very useful video if you don't know how to write an introduction. Your questions are difficult to understand, unfortunately. Coda says Indian-speaking examiners are quite strict. Some of them are. Yeah, L2, not just Indians, L2 examiners tend to be stricter in my experience. Strange says, do you think counter-arguments in task 2 writing are necessary to score higher? It depends on the essay question. If it's a question like, what do you think? I think to get a band 9, I would probably put forward what the other side says and why I think they're wrong. Like, oh, there may be some who argue that da-da-da-da-da. However, they often fail to take into account da-da-da-da-da. I don't think you have to do it to score a band 9, but it can be a sign that you're diving deeper into the topics. Of course, it depends on the question type. Again, it's only for a very specific question type. If it's a problem and solutions, you don't have to give counter arguments. But I think you're referring to opinion essays, like what's your opinion, and then should you put forward the other side? You can. Usually that means writing an extra paragraph, using more words, using more time. If your goal is band 9, I would say maybe experiment with it. If your goal is just band 7 or 8, I would say don't bother. How can I explain in cue card? I don't know what that means. Sorry. Why Indians provide less speaking score? Indians generally don't. I think L2 examiners whose first language is not English, they tend to be a bit stricter. Why does that happen? I could maybe offer some speculation, but I don't know. All I can tell you is my experience as an examiner and a quality assurance examiner is that in general, L2 examiners tend to be a little bit stricter with the marking. What would you yourself do if you were an IELTS student? What kind of things would you do every day? I'd absorb English content. I'd probably get a valid assessment of my current skills, and I would definitely not book the exam until my language level was ready. So I would try to understand. I would try to take. Actually, this is what I would do. First of all, I would do a diagnostic, and I would use a Cambridge use of English test, either for Cambridge First or for Cambridge Advanced. I would do the use of English test to give myself an idea of my language level. Now, if I can get C1 in the use of English test, I would start preparing for IELTS. And I only wanted a band 7. I would do just 1 month maximum preparation course, and then I would do the test. If my level showed that I was B2, not C1, I would forget about IELTS and I would focus on English. And then, in 6 months, I would take another diagnostic test, see where my English level is, and then if my English level was high enough, then I would book my IELTS test. So I think the biggest problem is people book their IELTS test when they are not ready. They are like a B1 or B2 user of English. They book their IELTS test, and then they try to prepare to get their level up to C1. For me, it just doesn't work that way. IELTS is generous, though, with the speaking, especially when it comes to B2 C1. Is it true that native speakers would fail IELTS? I know one native speaker. You can't fail IELTS, right? Again, it's madness. You can't fail IELTS. IELTS gives you a score between 1 and 9 that reflects your abilities to speak, read, write, and listen in English. There is no fail. I don't understand what you mean fail IELTS. I do know one guy who wanted to move to Canada and he had to take IELTS, but unfortunately he has dyslexia and he failed, or didn't fail, but he didn't get the score that he wanted for writing. So yeah, some people, but I don't know, fail by get less than 7, it's quite rare. Most native speakers, maybe the writing they might have some difficulties with. With the speaking, they'll all get 8, 8.5 or 9. Behruz says, I got 8 for my task 2, so it was 8888. Is there anything that generally holds back band 8 essay writers from achieving a 9? That difference between an 8 and a 9 is a huge jump. A huge jump. It is a huge jump. And the one thing I would say that stops them from getting a band 9 is this idea that the language draws attention to itself. when an examiner sees a bit of language and thinks, that's just a bit strange, or I understand exactly what you mean, but the wording is just a little bit odd. It's really, really tough to get that 9. But it's all written in the band descriptors, Behruz. If you got 88888, probably you can understand what's written in the band descriptors, even though it's written in jargon. Yeah, have a look in those band descriptors and yeah, but 88888 is a fantastic score for writing part 2. Amazing score. Nadir Beck asks, might speaking examiners make mistakes while assessing? Yeah, I've noticed examiners who make mistakes, and I think quite clearly make mistakes. Examiners are asked to justify their scores if they are caught like being very wrong. And if the examiner can justify the score, you think, okay, fine. If the examiner consistently gives inaccurate scores and can't justify it, then they go back through the training. Most IELTS examiners have to go back through this, or all IELTS examiners have to go through the training semi-regularly, just to keep themselves topped up. So they're always required to show that they can examine and mark accurately. So there is some safety in place there. So if examiners do mark inaccurately, usually they're found pretty fast. Anyway, it's time for me to choose another candidate. Oh, we have 30 comments this time. Just want to make sure that people are not putting multiple comments in there. Okay, it seems that they're not. Anyone putting multiple? Cool. All right, so I'm going to go back to my random number generator. If you do have any further questions, please do hold them back, because remember, for the next candidate, the number for this candidate is number 8. So let's have a look. Who is number 8? Blacknet just missed it again. That's twice in a row Blacknet's missed the deadline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have Saddam. Oh, Saddam will be happy because I've seen Saddam posting a lot of stuff. So congratulations to you, Saddam. I'm going to write to you on Telegram, and I'm going to send you the link to the Zoom chat. So you'll see my chat. You'll see my message on Telegram very shortly. Hey, you and join me here for the speaking test. I hope this is the Saddam that's been posting many times, because it's always nice when I see a name that I recognize who's been trying for a long time. It's always nice when they finally get their chance. Another thing, reading is so tough, how to deal with it. Questions like this show me that you're not very serious, right? You're just you're lost. You have no strategy. You turn up on an examiner's live stream for speaking and say, reading is tough. How to deal with it? Oh, I'm lagging, apparently. So my OBS is telling me that there are no dropped frames, but it is possible that I'm lagging. Please do let me know if other people think I'm lagging. Can you please let me know, and I'll see if there's anything I can do to fix it. I'll go back to that question about reading. Reading is so tough, how to deal with it. There is nothing. There's nothing that I can say to respond to that means anything. I could lie. I could make stuff up. I could pretend. But yeah, that's not a serious question. Sorry. Thanks, sir. I was born on the 8th of September. Sometimes people comment things like audio's okay, because someone said my audio was dropping. Saddam has joined us. I hope. And should be here any second. Yeah, Behruz thinks it's the candidate's problem. Hi, Saddam. Can you hear me okay? Hello? Can you hear me
Yes,
okay?
I can.
Are you busy?
No, I'm not.
Okay, cool. Nice to see you. Thanks for being a candidate on the channel. Before we get into any IELTS stuff, can you just introduce yourself? Where are you from, and tell us something about your preparation?
My name is Saddam. I'm from Uzbekistan. Yeah.
How are you preparing for IELTS?
I've been preparing for IELTS for about 1 year. It's been 1 year.
And how do you prepare? What do you do? Do you do practice tests? Do you learn grammar, vocab?
Mostly, I listen to a lot of YouTube content. I read articles every day or every other day. So yeah.
Okay, and why are you taking IELTS? Like, what's your goal and what score are you hoping to get?
Uh, if things go as planned, I want to study abroad.
Can you give a bit more detail?
Get
Like,
my
what are you planning to study? Where would you like to go? What score do you think you'll need?
it would be better if I manage to get overall 7, but 6.5 is still enough.
Mm-hmm. And where are you hoping to study? You said you'd like to study abroad. Have you thought about which countries you'd like to go to?
I'm planning to study in Canada.
Why did you choose Canada?
Um, because of the quality of education.
Cool. I noticed that many of your answers are very, very short. So, like, you're giving me like one sentence answers, and maybe you notice that I have to keep asking questions to pull more information from you. Obviously, this is not part of the test, but during the test, this can definitely affect your score for fluency and coherence. Of course, we don't want answers to be too crazy long, but if the question is like, where are you hoping to go? I'm hoping to go to Canada. Why? Because of the education? Those answers are a little bit short. Can you hear me okay?
Uh, yeah, it is what yes, I can.
How is your internet connection?
Actually, it's my weakness. I can't.
I'm a little bit worried about your connection because we have a bit of a delay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
There's just a delay between when I ask the question and when you reply. But okay, we'll get into the test, I suppose. Before we start that, what score? I know you're hoping for 7.0 overall, and 6.5 is maybe okay. What score do you think you'll get in the speaking test, and what do you think your current level of speaking is in English?
I think my current level is 6.5 or 7.
In speaking
It comes down to
or overall?
not. I mean overall score.
I'm just asking now about speaking. Sorry.
I don't know about my speaking. I actually don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll find out, I guess. All right. So I think you're quite familiar. I think you're quite familiar with the format of the test, but just to remind you, there are 3 parts in the test. The first part, I will ask you questions about you, quite easy topics, quite familiar topics. In part 2, you'll speak about something on your own for up to 2 minutes. Now, in this part, you'll have 1 minute of preparation time. So do you have a pen and a piece of paper with you? Because you can take some notes in this preparation time.
Yes, I do.
Cool. And I'll share the topic with you. I'll share the cue card with you in the Zoom chat. So when it comes to part 2, I will tell you, okay, I will now share the topic in the Zoom chat, and I'll give you a few seconds to find it. But that's where you'll see it, in the Zoom chat. Then part 3 is where we get into the difficult stuff. In part 3, we have a discussion about less familiar topics. So in part 3, the questions are not like how often do you do something or when did you do something. The question is more like why do some people do this or some people say this? Do you agree with them or how do you think this will change in the future? These questions are a bit more difficult by design. We don't need like perfect, intelligent answers. We just want to see how you can speak about both yourself and how you can speak about more global general topics. Do you have any questions about anything before we start our test?
I don't have any question. I'm familiar with all of things.
Great. All right, so let's start the test then. So, good evening. My name is Glyn. Would you please tell me your full name?
My name is Bahrulaev Saddam. You can just call me Saddam.
Okay, thank you, Saddam. Now, in this first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Do you work or do you study?
Currently, I work. It's been 1 year. I graduated from a university. Right after that, I got a job.
What do you do for
Now
work?
I'm working. I work in a factory where we manufacture household appliances. For example, refrigerator, washing machine, vacuum cleaner, stuff like that.
And do you like your job?
Yes, I do. Um, Even though my job is not easy, I enjoy because my work sometimes is pretty hard, but sometimes it's very rewarding.
And do you spend a lot of time with your colleagues outside of work?
Um, no, I don't because after my work, I have a lot of thing to do. My my friends and I spend my most of my time with my friends after my work, not with my colleagues.
Mhm. Let's move on now and talk about sleeping. What time do you usually go to bed?
Uh, I sleep.
Before going to bed?
Uh, I spend most of my time on social media every day. Um 2 or 3 hours I spend.
Before going to bed?
Yeah,
Hmm. Do you ever have any problems falling asleep?
sometimes when I drink coffee, uh, I have a problem with sleeping.
And is it easy for you to get up in the morning?
Not not easy because I I sleep I sleep 2 a.m. Because of that, um, I have a problem with getting up early.
Hmm. Let's talk about bags now. How often do you use or carry a bag?
I every day use my bag uh, before to go to work. Um, I carry my things, my laptop.
And did you have a school bag when you were younger?
Yes, I did. There was never been time when I didn't use my bag. We I used every day my school bag.
And do you use plastic bags when you go shopping?
Whenever I go to supermarket or shop, I always use plastic bags.
Okay, thank you. Now, in this next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to speak about this topic for 1 to 2 minutes. But before that, you'll have 1 minute to prepare for your talk, and you may take notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
I will now share the cue card, the topic, in the Zoom chat. Can you see the topic? Can you see the topic in the Zoom chat?
Yes, I've seen the topic. Describe a place you have visited.
I'd like you to describe a place you visited that left a strong impression on you. Your 1 minute of preparation time starts now. Okay, so that's the end of your preparation time. To remind you, you'll have between 1 and 2 minutes to give your talk, and I will let you know when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Yes, I can. Last summer, me and with my friends, we go to Samarkand to to visit Registan. Uh, we were 5 people in our team. We went there with car, one of my friends' car. It takes 3 hours to get there.
Did you like the place?
Yes, that was the first time. I'd never I'd never visited go there before because that was first time. I really liked the Registan. The place and the buildings was magnificent, and and there were tourists. We hang out with them a little bit, and then after visiting Registan, we had some meals in Samarkand.
Okay, thank you. All right, so you've been talking about this time when you took a trip with your friends by car. Let's talk a little more about travel and personal growth now. What kinds of places tend to leave very strong impressions on people?
I think historic places um, leave big impression on people because um, historic things are always interesting.
What kinds of historic places do people visit? Do you mean like historic cities or historic museums or something like this?
Historic cities um, because they maintain their greatness for long years, and yeah, it attracts people attention because of the time.
Uh-huh. And do you think traveling to new places can change people's opinions about the world?
I Yes, because uh, when people live in their country, um, there is
Let's move on. Why do some people prefer to visit familiar places and not go to new places?
because some people are not risk taker people. Uh, for them, going to place where their first time, it's much safer.
Why is it safer?
Uh, because it's not gonna be all the time good place when people go to somewhere new.
Let's talk a little more about tourism and local communities. How does tourism impact the lives of people who live in popular destinations?
Um, in this place, because of a lot of tourists, there's gonna be job opportunities because more people use transport, food, restaurant, cafe. Um, so because of that,
So, do you think it's always a positive effect on these people?
I don't think so. The more people come to popular place, the more waste is.
What
The
kind of
more
waste?
waste is. uh, For example, this disposable plastics, pla- plastic bottles.
And what can tourists do to show respect for local cultures?
Um, they they should learn a little bit about a country's culture, for example, um, because some.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of the test. All right, Saddam, how do you feel, first of all?
I'm feeling very nervous.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
bad
freezing.
feeling, isn't it, when you are recorded, you meet a stranger, you're on a live stream, somebody asks you a random question. It's you will have these kinds of feelings. I think you will have on test day too. So it's important for you, I think, to learn how to control your nerves and your emotions when you feel nervous. How do you feel about the speaking topics, the questions that you had? So you had to speak about your work, bags, sleeping, a place you visited, and tourism. Are these themes comfortable for you, or are they difficult for you?
The topics is not very hard. It's quite simple actually, but preparation was not good.
What would how could preparation be better?
Uh, with practice, consistent practice,
I think we have a bit of a
because
delay.
I fo- I I focus on more other sections, and speaking is always my weak side.
Hmm. So this one I think is probably a band 5. Um, what do you think your strongest? What do you think your strongest part is?
In speaking,
Yeah. So we have fluency and coherence. We have grammar. We have vocabulary and pronunciation. What do you think is your strongest from those 4 things?
I think my pronunciation is a little bit better than rest of the other sections.
You're absolutely right. Your pronunciation is your highest, and your pronunciation is at band 6 level, so it means it's very easy to understand everything that you say. Of course, because you have a lot of pauses in your speech, you don't always have what we call stress timing, like the rhythm of the language. Like if I say, I went to the shop last week, da 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 da, you find it difficult to keep that rhythm because you have a lot of pauses like this. So that will block your pronunciation from getting a higher mark. But your pronunciation, your phonology, the individual sounds, they're very, very clear. It's very easy to understand what you're saying. So band 6 for pronunciation. What do you think is your weakest part? Do you think it's your vocab, your grammar, or your fluency?
I think all of them are so weak. My fluency is very slow. Uh, I didn't use any complex or this descriptive vocabulary when I was speaking.
Use
Yeah,
disposable
I felt
plastic.
every,
That was quite descriptive.
but I felt very nervous when I was speaking.
Yeah. Your weakest part is definitely your fluency and coherence. So I gave band 4 for this. So you can't keep speaking without noticeable pauses, right? This is written in the band descriptors. If there are clear pauses that stop you from developing, or you can't, yeah, I think the actual wording is the candidate is unable to keep going without noticeable pauses. And I think anyone that listens to your speech will say, oh, that candidate has a problem where his answers are short. He cannot keep going. Like even in part 2, like after about 40 seconds, it felt like you didn't have anything to say, and I had to ask you another question to help you to keep going. So that's the thing. Like we can forget about coherence and connectors and things like this. We can forget about those. Fluency and speaking at length is the thing that you have to work on. In terms of grammar, you have some basic mistakes, like you say we go last year instead of we went last year. You miss past simple a lot. You say like it takes 3 hours instead of it took 3 hours. These are very, very basic mistakes. However, even with the grammar mistakes, it's still easy to understand what you're saying, but it still will limit you to a band 5. And the same thing with vocab. You do have some good bits of vocab in there, but you don't talk about topics at length. And so because your answers are so short, I just can't award any higher marks for vocab because your answers are short. And to get that band 6, band 7, you have to speak, you have to be comfortable speaking about topics at length. And you just can't extend the answers. So if I was a teacher, I would say that your level is B1, and I would say that you are at the lower side of B1, maybe even A2 B1 for your speaking. But on the IELTS scale, maybe it's enough for a band 5, so like 4 for fluency and coherence, 5 for grammar, 5 for vocab, 6 for pronunciation. Your pronunciation is strong. I don't see you getting 6 in IELTS speaking anytime soon. I think right now your ceiling is 5.5, and the thing that you really have to work on is getting your answers longer. Even if you have some pauses, okay, but at the first instance, we should be thinking about developing answers. For me, task 3 questions for you are really, really difficult because I think you even maybe have some difficulty sometimes maybe even understanding the questions. I don't know, but it seems that that's true. Yeah, for the moment, you're a B1 user of English, and I think a score of 5 is decent. If you need a band 6.5 in speaking, for me, I would say forget about IELTS. Put IELTS to one side and just focus on learning English. Totally forget about IELTS, and when your level is a little bit higher, then come back to IELTS. But I don't know, maybe you have some comments for me, maybe you have some questions. I know you were feeling very nervous. Maybe that affected your performance. But I don't know, do you have any comments or any questions for me?
I decided to join this live because I had to build my confidence a little bit because I've never talked with a native speaker before, and I had to pull out stops. I just wanted to build my confidence.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
I
good...
know my speaking is not high, but
Yeah, speaking is a skill, and like any skill, it needs to be practiced. I think there's also some effect of the internet connection because I feel that there's a delay. Sometimes when I see you speak, I see your mouth moving and I hear something different. And sometimes that delay can be a problem too. But, you know, you can do very, very basic things okay. It's really, really good that you are brave and that you tried to take this opportunity. But yeah, more practice. You know, if you're getting scores of 6.5 or 7 in listening and reading, that's a very, very good sign. But speaking practice is definitely something you need more of.
yeah, there is a long way to go.
But yeah, I would say, again, forget about IELTS and focus on doing some speaking practice. Go join some speaking clubs or something like this. Many of them are for free. You can find things online. Yeah.
Thank you for your assessing my speaking. It really helps in the future.
Cool. Well, best of luck to you with your English learning and then with your IELTS preparation. But thank you for being brave. Thank you for joining. Alrighty then. The chat's very, very quiet. The last message was a while ago. I don't know if that's a problem on my side or if just nobody's watching now. I don't know. It's been a while since we've had a lower level candidate on the channel. Many of the candidates recently have been like 9s and 8s and high 7s and things like this. So that's interesting to have, or good for me to have a B1. We don't see many B1s taking IELTS anymore. Usually people go with the B2 level. I just want to make sure that I am still live because nobody's writing anything in the chat. If you can hear me, can you let me know that I am still live? Because I don't see my side for sure if I am. And I'm worried that maybe... Oh, let me pull up the app on my phone. Yes, there are. There is a comment there. Glad that someone is there. Cool. I guess I am still live. So yeah, interesting to see a lower level candidate. But again, it's, you know, those part 3 questions, if your English level isn't there, those part 3 questions are brutal. And it's one of those things where I think IELTS is very, very generous with the B1. Because I've done, you know, one of my jobs a few years ago was like teaching a whole company. And part of that job was regularly assessing new people. So people would come in and then I would assess their level, just doing like a 10-15 minute speaking test, not an IELTS test, just a speaking test. If that candidate came in, if a candidate like this came in to me, I would say probably best to go into the A2 group, not even the B1. But on the IELTS scale, it does check out as a B1. I will say his pronunciation is very good, and you can definitely see that there is language there. He used like, the more you do it, the better it is, or one of those the grammatical comparative structures, which is, you know, indicative of a B2 user. So it's not all bad, but fluency was a real killer, a real blocker. And so for me, yeah, not higher than B1. Adfarjan says, where should I get the best course to prepare for IELTS? Well, you know what? It depends on how much money you have to spend. If you're looking to spend something like 20, 30 bucks, I don't know. I really don't know. I am planning on making like a cheap course, like a 10 bucks course or something like this, with like the information that I've gathered over the years, and nothing crazy, just nice, simple, straightforward guide to getting the most out of your language level. So I'm planning on making that, but I don't know. I mean, I would say for writing, go to see Brick. How to IELTS is the YouTuber. He's someone I trust a lot. So if you're looking for a course that's about, you know, 10, 20, 30 bucks, do that. If you have a bit more money to spend, let's say you have 200 bucks to spend, I would say get a group together. Find people who are motivated, find people who want to study, get a group of you together and pay a teacher. Take a 3-month course, 4-month course, pay a teacher and use a Cambridge University Press course book, Complete IELTS, Objective IELTS, something like this. If you don't have any money to spend, my recommendation is still get a group together, be an organizer, do things, be active, be motivated, get a group of other people who have a similar level to you, who have the same goals as you, and go through it yourself. Go through a course book yourself. It will be a bit more difficult because you won't have the teacher to guide you, but you can do this yourself. Do it as a group. When you're with a group, it feels much, much better. You get to see speaking practice. You get to learn a lot. A lot of evidence suggests that learners learn more from their peers. They learn more from the other students in the groups than they do from the teacher. So I would say if you want to do it on the cheap, if you don't have money to spend, get a study group together. Get a course book. You can get it free online if you search hard enough. And go through that course book together. Don't just do exam prep. Try to go through a course book like Objective IELTS, like Complete IELTS. Yeah, that's what I would do. For Band 7 in IELTS speaking, can a candidate still score well if they make occasional grammar mistakes? Yes. So just speaking, AJ, just about grammar. For Band 9, you can't make any mistakes except mistakes that native speakers make. For band 8, we just need the majority of sentences that don't have grammatical mistakes, the majority of sentences. For a band 7, you only need frequently produces error-free sentences. So not even 50%. About 60% of your sentences can have mistakes and you can still get a band 7. So yeah, absolutely. You can make a lot of mistakes and get a band 7. What do you make of a channel called English Pro Tips? A red-headed guy. Is that Eli or is it someone else? English Pro Tips. I definitely remember the name. I think it's... Yeah, he's good. I like him. I have seen, you know, one or two bits of... a few bits of content where I thought, like, oh, that's... like, really? Are you really going to say that? So yeah, there were a few things where I thought, like, that's strange, but I trust him as a content creator. I think he does play the game a little bit of, like, you know, the funny thumbnails and the funny content and little bit clickbaity. Eli, English Pro Tips, I think he's generally, you know, a reliable source of information. If he says something about the IELTS test, I would more or less trust it. Yeah, absolutely. Ekaterina, thank you, says get better soon. Probably you can hear in my voice that I'm a little bit sick. Спасибо большое, Katya. Ekaterina, sorry. Maratarmar says yes. I don't know what he's saying yes to. Oh yeah, Eli, probably to the Eli thing. Yeah, so Eli's a very, yeah, he's a reliable content creator, I would say. Okay, I think, what time do we have? 20:51. I think I'll do one more speaking test. Why not? One more speaking test. So I am going to take a quick bathroom break. Before I take a bathroom break, I'm going to go back to the Telegram chat. If Blacknet is watching, I'll say, please respond more quickly. Both times now you've missed the cutoff time. But I'm going to go back to my Telegram chat. I'm going to say, we'll do one more speaking test. If you're watching the stream right now and would like to be today's third speaking candidate, please reply to this message with one suitable response. So we will have one more speaking test. I've been going for almost 2 hours. Wow, that's flown by. AJ says, whenever you make a feedback video, you listen carefully, then give the band score. But in the main exam, they give the score after listening just once, or they listen again. They do it just once. So on my speaking tests, AJ, when a candidate comes and has a speaking test with me, I also give them scores immediately. So I tell them, this is the score that I would give you, and this is why, and I give mini feedback. The purpose of the feedback video is not the scores. The purpose of the feedback video is just to see exactly what an examiner, or what I as an examiner see in your language. This is what I like. This is what I think is not so good. That's very clear. That's easy to understand, but it's worded not very well. Or that's potentially a little bit confusing, or that sound is just a little bit wrong. That's the detailed type of feedback that I like to give candidates, because I like to give candidates, you know, a full picture of their speaking performance, so that then they can go away and say, okay, this thing is a big problem and I can't improve it. This thing is something that I can fix very quickly. That's something I had no idea I was making that mistake. I'll try to fix that immediately. Of course, sometimes I change my scores after watching one time, but usually the scores stay the same. But yeah, IELTS examiners, they do not re-listen to it. Some of their work is marked like a second time by a senior examiner. This is for quality purposes, because we want to make sure that examiners are marking accurately. So sometimes a second examiner, a senior examiner, will listen, give a score, and then compare and see, make sure that the examiners are giving correct scores. But no, IELTS examiners, you're in through the door, they give you the speaking test, they write your score down, boom, next one comes in. AJ says, thanks, got it. Cool. That's my signal, I guess, to stop talking. We've had 12 candidates who've put their name in. I'm going to take a very, very quick bathroom break. Why do examiners record? Because the second examiner, for quality reasons, they need to listen to it to check that the examiner is giving the right mark. Fonka says, let's choose. No, I'm going to take a bathroom break. When I come back, then I'll choose. So yeah, bear with me for just one moment. I really should get some type of background, like to say that there's a break in progress. Probably it's not very interesting looking at my computer chair. Let's see. How many people? 16 comments this time. Okay. Let's choose got you. Okay, he has a tattoo. Yes, he has a tattoo. He does. Sorry. Not everybody's a fan of tattoos. I'm not a huge fan of tattoos, but reasons. All right, so let's have a look how many people we have. 17 in total. So now I'm going to go to my random number generator. First, I just need to make sure that we don't have many people applying. Many people applying multiple times. Cool, looks okay. 17. Random number generator between 1 and 17. Let's press generate a few times, look away, close my eyes, and 11. So the winner is 11. That means that the winner is 9, 10, 11. The winner is H. Oh, we've had H on the channel before. When was that? December the 11th. So I'm going to choose a different candidate. I am sorry about that, but just because you had one so recently, I'm sorry, H, just because you had one so recently, I think it's just fairer to give a chance to someone else. I don't even remember exactly who you were and what your speaking test was, but I am going to choose someone else. I'm sorry, that seems a bit unfair, but you know, you had a speaking test like less than 2 weeks ago. It's probably not the score. The feedback's not going to be any different. Oh, this time we have number 12. Achiever has just put name in, but that's a little bit late. So we have Mirzabek. I do feel like Mirzabek's been on the channel before. I'm not sure, because there are a few Mirzabeks. People told me that my pronunciation of Mirzabek was wrong, so I remember that name very well. But anyway, congratulations to Mirzabek. You've been selected. I'm not sure if I've seen you before. Maybe I have. Who knows? But hey, you can join me here. We'll now give Mirzabek just a minute or so to join. And we'll see. Any other comments, any other questions, anything else you want to ask while we're waiting for Mirzabek? Oh, Mirzabek's already here, so let's welcome Mirzabek.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Gillian.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I'm gonna like I live in Uzbekistan. We don't have electricity though. Now we don't have electricity. Can you see me right now?
I can. I remember you. I gave you a test about
Yeah.
a year ago, no?
Yeah, of course.
And you did really well in this CEFR test. I think you got your C1, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I got 8 honestly at that time. Yeah.
Wow.
It was like your feedback was kind of great. I think at that time I was just rushing a lot, and I just figured out that the problem that I have was just speaking too fast, as you said, and that I just worked on it. After probably 2 weeks, I just got into the test, and I just got 8, which was impressive, honestly. Yeah, I mean everyone was shocked.
I think I also gave a speaking test to one of your friends who was also taking the CEFR test at the time, a girl. And I remember a few people said, like, oh, she's not C1. Why am I giving C1? And she got C1 in her test too. And I remember thinking, like, yes, I'm so happy. Because
Yeah.
whenever candidates say this, like, oh, your scores are wrong, I like it when the candidates prove them wrong. It's always
Yeah.
good. So how have you
It wa-
been? How have
It
you
was
been?
Medina, honestly. It
Medina,
was
that's
Medina.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very fluent, very clear. I remember. How have you been over the last year? What are you doing? Are you teaching English now? Are you preparing to take IELTS again, or how are you connected to this world of English language learning or teaching?
Oh, I've been teaching for about 2 years, and yeah, it's been really great after taking tests, after getting 8 from the speaking. Uh, I just I was enjoying the life, but unfortunately, I just came across with SAT, which is kind of annoying. I mean, it's really hard to handle. The SAT is really kind of confusing sometimes. That the reading questions are to have some logic rather than just having bunch of vocab or something like that. Just have to be able to think in English at the same time. Just have to use your logic. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it requires you just like another level of understanding of the context, which is harder than IELTS. I mean, I'm doing it for the money too. I mean, I'm just making money out of IELTS, right? I have like hundreds of students, but yeah, maybe I'm too greedy.
At least you're
Yeah.
honest. Do you have any Telegram or something? Like, where could people find you? If there are not many people watching, but if anyone is impressed by the way that you speak and wants to get some more feedback or some insights from you, do you have like a Telegram page, or are you active on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a Telegram channel called Mirza English.
Mhm.
Mirza English. Just I could send you after exam, maybe. So yeah.
I think I found it actually. Mirza English speaking.
Yeah. Mirza English speaking 8. I just want to show off that I got 8.
That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. If you want to follow Mirza, guys, join him on Telegram. So I've put a link. I don't know if many people will sign up, but I've put a link to your Telegram there in the chat. So if anyone
you.
wants to,
That's
writing sucks. Yeah, writing's always tough. All right, so obviously I don't need to repeat anything about the format of the test, right? You're very, very familiar with this. I will say it's unlikely that your score will change much. You might end up with a 7.5, you might end up with an 8.5, but, if you got 8 before, maybe it's going to be 8 again. But we'll see. We'll go through the test. I'll mark it as objectively as possible. I will remind you that in part 2, you'll have 1 minute to prepare. So if you have a pen and piece of paper or a very active brain, you can take notes in that preparation time. Previously, when we took the test, I shared the topic on the screen. This time, because we're live streaming, I can't do that. So I'll put the topic in the Zoom chat. So it's not there right now, but during the test, when it comes to part 2, The topic will be shared in the Zoom chat. Sometimes it takes people, 10, 20 seconds just to find it because they're not familiar with Zoom. If you need a bit of time to find it, that's absolutely fine. But apart from that, are you ready to start?
Yes, I am.
Cool. All right, good afternoon. My name is Glyn. Would you please tell me your full name?
So my full name is Mukhtar Mustafa. You can just call me Music.
Okay, thank you. Now, in this first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Do you work or do you study?
I'm both of them, honestly. Nowadays, I'm a senior in a high school, and also I've been working as a teacher for about 2 years. So I do both. Yeah.
And what do you teach?
I teach English. I'm an English teacher. So I got IELTS, and I'm just trying to help students with their IELTS preparation as well as SEFR. Yeah.
What kind of tasks do you enjoy doing with your students?
Uh, Probably debates are the most interesting ones. Whenever you just see your students thinking really, hard about certain topics, and they are giving some their opinions about the topics. Like it's really cool to see like youth just improve their like logical thinking. I mean, like because of you, like they're just trying to debate in English, which is pretty much impressive. So yeah.
And do your students ever disappoint you?
Uh, like zero many times that they did it. I mean, for example, recently, like they've got into a test. At that time, they were so nervous and they made a bunch of mistakes that also made me upset a little bit. But like everyone does make mistake, so it's all right.
Let's talk about reading now. Do you like reading?
Yes, I do. Also, from my childhood, I've been a big reader. So nowadays, I always try to read books, but rarely do I read them, honestly, because of my hectic schedule. And I mean, like, but I always try to listen to some audiobooks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite authors?
Authors. I don't know that. Like, I'm not really sure that you know the names of authors, Uzbek authors, honestly. Like, there's an author called Khudayber Totebayev who writes only for children. And I mean that children's literature is not that complicated to understand, but I think like they have some special meanings that they actually involve, which actually makes me, fascinated about them. So I always try to read this person's book. So yeah.
And how often do you read magazines?
Magazines, like it really depends on the games that my favorite team plays. I mean, whenever Marsa site, I think it's Marsa, like Spanish site, which shows the Real Madrid games. Who, I mean, it's really great. I mean, you just can just open up the page, read all the information, what happened in the game. So yeah, like it really depends. Maybe once a week. So yeah.
Let's talk about the weather now. What's your favorite kind of weather?
Uh, like as I'm student, as I'm a little bit kind of like I don't have financial stability, so I just have to commute a lot. At these points, I walk on foot, so I think wet weather is the perfect option for me. I mean, you just can't just walk down the streets without getting cold or without getting so hot. So yeah, wet weather is perfect.
Mhm. And is there any kind of weather then that you don't like?
Uh, I I think that scorching hot would be the worst option that I could choose from. I mean, for example, in Uzbekistan, the summer is so hot that you can't just breathe. Right? I mean, whenever you go outside, you can just find yourself in an environment that you just can't feel comfortable. So, yeah, I think it's really depends on my country's location. So yeah.
And how often do you check the weather? Like with an app or online?
Uh, so I think it really depends. Sometimes you just know that the weather is gonna be great. Like let's say the sun shining, but sometimes you are a little bit afraid that there are a lot of clouds at this point. I just have to check. Like I always try to ask from my mother as she's retired and she knows what I don't. So at this point, I always try to ask my mom, but I mean, not always, but sometimes I just have to make sure that what I'm gonna wear or what I'm gonna take with me, maybe my umbrella or something else. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now, in this next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about this topic for 1 to 2 minutes. But before that, you'll have 1 minute to prepare for your talk, and you may take notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
I will now share the topic in the Zoom chat. Can you see the topic?
So yeah, I can.
I'd like you to talk about a sport that you like. Your 1 minute of preparation time starts now. Okay, so that's the end of the preparation time. To remind you, you'll have between 1 and 2 minutes to give your talk, and I'll let you know when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
So now I'm going to talk about the sports that I really like and enjoy playing. Like first of all, I just really want to choose football, but then I just thought like this is a topic that's so widespread. So I just tried to speak about. I'm going to try to speak about chess, which I play some often nowadays. So chess is a sport that that I really like. Back in the day, I didn't really like particularly like chess. At that time, I was so dumb and I didn't know how to play it. But then I learned it. My friend taught me how to play chess, and I just became obsessed with it because I just started watching some YouTube videos about chess players, Magnus Carlsen, Gukesh Demiraju, Yo Hersinar, who's from Uzbekistan. I mean, the way they things sometimes whenever they make some blunders, right? At that times they usually make some faces like they just do this and do this. They just show their emotion to do the game. Sometimes some people just think that chess is so boring and chess is so monotonous, right? Two people just sit on the table and just they just to stare at each other or move the pieces like pawn, bishop, or knight, which is kind of hilarious. But sometimes when you dive into the game and when you just immerse yourself into the game, you just understand like it's like more than just moving the pace. It's just the strategy. It's like tactics, like the opening time, the middle game, the end game. You just have to have some ability to think outside the box, which is absolutely amazing, right? Without this game, I wouldn't have been able to become a person who I am nowadays. I mean, I think differently. I just try to implement this kind of rules, the tactics into my life, right? I wish I had started playing this game much earlier than that. I mean,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so you've been talking about this game chess that you like. Let's talk a little more about sports now. And let's start with sports and health. How important is regular exercise for maintaining good health?
I think it's pretty much important, right? Nowadays, in our sedentary lifestyle, especially children and old people are just addicted to their phones. Maybe we just have to encourage them to do some exercise or train. I mean, little bit. We just have to get them out of their phone screens. I mean, it's really important when you just move your body or try to do some exercise. It's gonna improve your cardiovascular activities, right? Cardiovascular system. Maybe it's gonna improve your immune system as well when you just move your body. I mean, your blood circulation can be a little bit can be improved, obviously. So yeah, I mean, when you just do exercise, you just move your body and you're gonna get your results. So yeah, it's that simple.
And do you think people nowadays find it difficult to exercise because of their modern lifestyles?
Yes, I think they make a lot of excuses about their lives, their hectic schedules, right? They don't have a lot of time, and they can do the exercise. But in reality, when people want, right, when people just actually really want to exercise, they're gonna find time. It's that simple. I mean, when you think about it, some people just ignore the fact that they actually can do this, but they usually take their hectic lifestyle as a just excuse, which is not that good. So yeah.
Some people like exercising alone, other people like exercising in groups. Why do you think some people like exercising alone?
I mean, I think group of like exercising with group could be a little bit distracting. I'm disruptive. I think sometimes you just can talk to your partners or talk to your friends. As a result, you just waste your time. If people want kind of the instant results, all right, they're gonna lose weight or they're gonna become champ at UFC or something like that. At these points, they should be so determined, or they should be so dedicated to the sport that they are doing, which is really important, right? At these points, don't want to be so distracted by the people around them. They just try to, choose to be alone and to train alone. So I think it's acceptable. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on and talk about technology in sport. How do people use technology nowadays to help them with the sports that they play?
You mean people?
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's pretty much hard question to answer, honestly. Like in our modern era, right? Whenever people go to some gyms, right, they usually look for some devices or look for some equipment that they can use to lift some weights or build their muscles, right? Sometimes you can just find some big rock to lift up, right, to improve your muscles. At these points, absolutely, the technology is going to be so useful for you, right? Nowadays people are just using them. For example, like I have a bunch of friends. Also, we can just take millions of people as an example. Like they're building their gyms in their houses. They're buying a bunch of modern cutting edge technology
Like
devices or
what, for
equipment.
example?
I mean, I don't really know the names of them, honestly. For example, they actually want to train their biceps or chests. At these points, you can just do some pull-ups or push-ups, but they think it's not enough. There are some equipment that I don't know the names of because of my poor English.
Let's talk about apps then. So, do you know how do people use apps to help them with their fitness goals?
Yeah, of course. They always try to count their calories. I mean, sometimes there are a lot of apps that can help you to do this. I mean, sometimes people don't know what they're eating or what they're consuming or what they're getting, the amount of protein, amount of fat, amount of the calories they need during the day. For example, sometimes people need to gain weight. At these points, they should just measure the
How does the
protein
app help with
level.
this?
They can just take pictures of the food they're eating, and they can just show the amount of calories or protein or fats. I don't know. So at this point, they're gonna count them, like, it really depends on their priorities. If they want, if they want to lose some weight, they're gonna cut them. All right, cut the calories and just be like fit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is the end of the test. All right. The first question I always ask everybody is, "How are you feeling?" How are you feeling, Mirzabek?
I'm feeling great. I mean, I didn't think that I was in an exam. I was just talking to my friends. I mean, you are my friends. Yeah, I can say that. I can totally say that. Like at that time, I was so worried about my exam, my students, But now I'm free. Like you can give me any score that you want, and I won't be so upset or something like that. So yeah,
It's a nicer
I'm
feeling, isn't it, when you're speaking without this stress, without this panic, without this
yeah,
fear. Yeah.
yeah. It's great when you're just out of stress and you just achieve the score that you want, and after that you're just relaxing. Yeah.
Obviously, you're a very high level user of English. Is there anything in the way that you speak English that you think, there's room for improvement, that you think you want to get better at?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes I stutter a lot. I think it is skill issue. I know that I have to work on. Sometimes the old habit, the old bad habit that I had, well, this I just got stuck in that, right? I just always try to implement. I just always try to force some C1, C2 words and grammar and stuff like that. At this point, the bad habit that I have is causing me to get my score lowered. So yeah, I think I always should try to be as natural as possible. So yeah, I think I was at this test a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue, and the most noticeable thing for me, is that some of the answers are a little bit chaotic, especially in part 3. Like, on the one hand, it's really good that you do have this willingness to speak at length, right? You could speak and speak and speak. You're very, very fluent as a speaker. However, sometimes your answers get really chaotic. Like, you were talking about like the chess players, and you were then naming a bunch of players, and I was wondering, like, where is this going? I think you used a lot of really good chess vocab, but some of the answers in part 3 just felt chaotic, were a little bit difficult to follow. I think at times in part 1 you were speaking in quite a controlled way. In part 3, I think you were speaking too quickly, and not just the speed of the speech, but I think there were like a lack of pauses in your speech, and it's like, okay, there's a full stop there. We want you to breathe, take a breath, and then keep going. And it feels a little bit like machine gun firing speech. There's a lot to like in your answers. I still feel like, you're trying to exploit higher level language. Like, rarely do I read, and it's like, okay, dude's using inversion, I see what he's doing, but it works, it's okay, it's in context. You sometimes, some of your phrasing, like, oh, it makes me fascinated, it's like, well, why not just use the verb? It fascinates me. That's probably more natural. So some of your phrasing, I think I spoke to you about this before, your use of pretty much. So you use like pretty much before adjectives, and it's not the most natural thing. Like pretty much before a noun, like, oh, I'm pretty much sometimes I'm pretty much done is fine, but you say like, oh, it's pretty much interesting, or it's pretty much important. That sounds strange. It's pretty important is fine. Pretty much important sounds a bit strange. So some of those like tiny little errors will be enough for an examiner to say like, okay, not band 9. Your fluency and coherence, if I'm generous, I would say it's an 8, but some of the chaotic answers might drop it to a 7, because I do feel like you're rushing, and I do feel because of your rushing, because of your complicated ideas, and because you want to stack one thing on top of another thing, 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 sometimes the answer runs away from the question, and I think it could be a bit simpler. I think in terms of your grammar and vocab, I think you are at that band 8, and I think with your pronunciation, I think that's also at a band 8. There was a moment at the end of part 1 where you were speaking really fluently, and then you kind of went a little bit like this, just a little bit choppy. And again, those types of small lapses in pronunciation and rhythm can stop you from getting a 9. Your pronunciation is very clear. Your phonology is incredibly strong. I'm not surprised that you got an 8. I would say, I don't even know if I want to commit to giving a mark. if this was a test that I was doing right now, I feel like I might award 7,888, and that would result in 7.5, but I can definitely see justification possibly for 88888. What I want to do, though, Mirzabek, before I let you ask me some questions, I'm going to paste in the Zoom chat, I'm going to paste these questions for part 3, and I want you to be the examiner, and I'm going to be the candidate, and I'm going to answer these questions in a more controlled, relaxed way. Can you see the questions there?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hit me.
So let's start. I'm gonna be your examiner today. So how are you feeling, Glenn?
I'm
How you
okay,
feeling?
thank you.
I hope you're doing good. So don't rush, please. Don't, try to impress me. It's okay if you use simple language. So let's start with part 3 questions. Just dive into it. So the first question I'm gonna ask you is, how important the rigorous exercise is for maintaining good sport health, good health.
I think it's very important. I mean, it's not a surprise for anybody that if you want to be healthy, there are 2 things that are important: the food that you eat and the exercise that you do. Now, I personally think that exercise is even more important than eating a healthy diet. You know, we need to run and we need to lift heavy weights to make sure that our muscles are developed. So yeah, I'd say it's very important. Oh, I can't hear you now, Mr. Examiner.
So, sorry for that. Do you think modern lifestyles make it harder for people to stay active?
Sometimes, yeah. I know a lot of people nowadays, you know, they work office jobs, right? So they wake up early, they go to the office, they get home late, and it can be tired. However, I'm a big believer that, you know, people have priorities in life. If you want to do exercise and if you really want to stay fit, you can do it. You'll find time to do it. And part of me thinks that some people, not all, some people pretend that they can't do exercise and they just make an excuse that they're too busy to do it.
So, right. Why do some people enjoy team sport?
Oh, there are 2 Glyn Jameses there now. Well, it seems that my connection just jumped out and Mirzabek's been kicked and yeah. Oh, Mirzabek's back. Great. We can finish our part 3. Sorry about that. I'm a candidate, and when I'm a candidate, there are always connection problems.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
can you repeat the last question you asked me, please?
So, all right. Why many people just prefer individual sports? No, I mean
You
doing
can ask
sport
that one individual.
individually. Yeah, individual sports rather than team sports.
I think it depends on the type of sport that you're into, right? Some people are just more into individual sports. Like nowadays, we see a lot of people who like running, for example. And it just makes sense, I think, to do that alone. Maybe it's the case that more introverted people choose sports that are individual sports, and maybe more extroverted people do it that way. So maybe it's not the case that they prefer sports that are individual, but just that in general they don't like spending time with other people. But I don't know.
Yeah, you are good at this. So sometimes I hear some slips when you talk. I mean, yeah, it sounds strange. It sounds strange, kind of strange. But I don't know. You have a Russian accent. I don't know. Maybe you're the Asian. I mean, do you live in Uzbekistan? I mean, and also I'm British, right? I'm British. At this point, you gotta have some good LT when you speak. When you say so yeah. Thank you, thank you, Glenn. I got your point. I mean, the mistakes that I had was just rushing problems as well. I mean, still after I getting 8, I always rush. I think I was a bit nervous when I talked to you. I think, yeah, but at the real exam at that time, I faced was Indian examiner. She was so nice. Um, at that time, I just started my speaking with a joke. Yeah. So she asked me like what I used to write back in the day when I was a child. At that time, I just said I used to write poems for my girlfriend, but unfortunately, despite that, she left me. We broke up, and I cried. At that time, I got her laughing. So I think it helped me. Sometimes I always try to entertain the examiners as much as I can. I mean, it's gonna help them. Sometimes the examiners can be a little bit, you know, a little bit kind of strange. I mean, maybe they have some problems with their wives or husbands. I don't know. They usually make some strange faces, like they just go like this, like this, like this, and but at the end of the day, you just end up getting 7 instead of 8 because of your examiner's husband or examiner's wife, which is annoying. Because yeah, I don't know.
In my experience, examiners are not capable of getting a husband or wife. Maybe that's why they give lower marks, because like I asked that girl out, damn it, and she didn't say yes. Who knows? Hopefully they're more professional. I mean, it is a risk, I think, to try to make the examiner laugh, but it's a risk that you can take. I mean, you have a vibrant personality, you have a lot of charisma, and so why not try to use that to your advantage? As an examiner, I don't mind too much when people are a bit humorous, but I do know other people who are a bit more stuck up, right? And they're like, oh, that person didn't take it very seriously. I think those type of examiners are dying out. You know, the world is becoming modernized, and we do appreciate more human-like responses, but there are still some people who might feel like people should take it more seriously. So it's always a risk if you're making jokes like this. But
So
I hope the response. Sorry, go on.
Recently, I've taken an exam. I really didn't want to tell you. IELTS exam. Like I didn't say to anyone else. But at that time, I got 8.5. Like it was great.
8.5 overall or 8.5 for speaking?
No. For speaking, I got 8.5. Like
Oh,
I was
wow.
so lucky that the question that I was asked was just the question that I prepared before the exam. So yeah, like I was able to use like as many C1 C2 words as a natural way, and also some grammars rules. I mean, I cracked the examiner's code. I think she really wanted to hear my stories as well. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes I just think like they are not as talented as you. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm just saying they just look at the person, and they usually you know get their first impression out of person, and they get stuck with it. I don't think they usually watch the recording.
No, there's
so
no. It's live. So it's recorded, but it's not recorded for the examiner. It's recorded in case the senior examiner wants to check the quality of it. So they don't listen back. You're in the exam. They give you the mark immediately. Different examiners are different, and there are a number of factors that can influence the score an examiner gives. It might be the case that before you, the examiner was a little bit generous with someone and gave them an 8, and then you came in and they thought, oh, this guy's better than the last one, so I have to give this one 8.5. That can happen sometimes. And sometimes it can go the other way, where they give someone an 8 and they think, oh, maybe I was a little bit harsh, and then you're not quite as good, and then they mark you down to 7.5. It shouldn't happen that way, but it can. And also, examiners are human, and we're all different, and we all have different things that we like. When examiners aren't told with IELTS, like exactly how to mark it, exactly how to punish things, It's just, this is the CEFR. This is what we expect from a 9, an 8, a 7. Award marks according to your experience. And there is a big variation in the marks that IELTS examiners
Yeah.
give.
Yeah, I'm just so confused the way they just mark their students. I mean, I watch you, all right? At that time, I just start to watching your videos. At that time, I realized what the speaking is, right? You sometimes give some honest marks to the people. Yeah, I always watch your like our videos like they are perfect. Sometimes you just give some full explanation to the person, to the candidate, and you know that what they're gonna do, you know what they're gonna show you off. And yeah, at this time I realized that if you do like other examiners do too, yeah,
Well, we're all
and
different. We are all different. Yeah, and I always make the point that I only show you how I mark as an examiner. There's a lot of YouTube videos is like, this is what examiners like, and it's like, well, we're all a bit different. It's like, this is what men like, and it's like, no, some men like that, and some men like something else, and some women like that, and not all women, and blah 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 blah. And it's kind of the same with examiners. We're all a little bit different, but our scores are not too different. Sorry to interrupt your point there.
mm-hmm. Glenn, I just want to ask, do you think the body language or looking at examiner's eyes is important?
I think if you're a good communicator, so I think to get a good mark in speaking, the short answer is no, but the long answer is maybe. If you want to get a good mark in speaking, you have to be a good communicator. Now, being a good communicator kind of naturally means that you will use body language and you will maintain eye contact. You won't be awkward. If you're covering your mouth and talking like this, you're not going to get a good mark. So in short, there's nothing in the band descriptors connected to body language at all. However, it's logical to connect the dots of people who've learnt English to a very, 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 very high level can only do that with communication skills. And if they have communication skills, then they're going to have good body language. So I will say that there is a correlation between Band 9 speakers and good body language, and there is a correlation between negative facial expressions and Band 5 users. That is just a correlation, but yeah, so in short, if I was a candidate, I wouldn't be thinking, how can I improve my body language to get a better mark? That's not a strategy that I would advocate. But you will see a correlation between strong user, good body language, not such a strong user, not such strong body language. But I'm going to have to leave it there, Mirzabek, because I've been going for 2.5 hours, and I just want to see if there's anything else in the chat. Is there any other, or are there any other, is there any other burning question you want to ask before I let you go?
Yeah, I really want you to to what you call to hire me. I mean, I always try to watch your videos. Maybe just think about it. You have my DM, and I just want to mark people. Like if I'm qualified to do this, I'm gonna help you.
A few people
wanna
asked me
help
this, like, can I hire them? And I said, like, for what? And they said, like, oh, for anything. It's like, what?
For free, for free,
I-
free, completely free. I mean, I just want to get some experience as an examiner. I mean, as I have a lot of students, as I have a lot of kind of things going on, I have to give them the real information. I mean, if I work for you,
All right.
I mean,
I'm going to say, let's set up a collaboration. We'll do a collaboration. We'll work together on something. We'll figure something out. But I'll definitely be in touch with you. I'm not just like saying this to get rid of you. I'll definitely be in touch with you. 2026 is the year where I want to do as many collaborations as possible. I'll be in touch. We'll set up a collaboration. You can do some event. You can think of the event for for your students, and you can use me as you wish, and we'll examine people together if you want, or we'll have a chat about something and live examine students. Maybe you watched my live stream with Arena last week. If you want to do something similar to that, we can do something like that. but let's discuss it in Telegram, not live over YouTube.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Really nice
Thank
to
you
see
for-
you again. Take care. All the best. All right, back to the chat for any burning last questions. Let's see. A friend advised me to speak a little slower in the IELTS speaking test. However, when I speak slowly, I start thinking more about grammar and get stuck. How can we control grammar while speaking? Those are two very different questions. Yeah, you know, the monitor in your head. So monitor is this like concept that Chomsky has. That's the thing that is thinking about the language that you use. You don't want that monitor to be overactive, but at the same time, speaking too quickly will not result in the best score. When people speak too quickly, they tend to have more reformulations. They tend to break down, false starts. They have to start again, more pauses, more. So speaking too quickly is bad. Speaking too slowly is bad. If you can relax, you'll probably naturally speak at a slower rate. If you're from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, you probably have a faster speed rate than average. People from those countries tend to speak more quickly. How can we control grammar while speaking? If you've acquired the grammar, you will control it automatically, right? How do you control the grammar in your own language when you speak? Well, you do it without thinking about it. Why? Because you've acquired it. There's no special trick, right? IELTS is just a proficiency exam. It makes you speak, and then it judges how you use language. Candidates who've acquired grammar or language in general, will make fewer mistakes than candidates that haven't fully acquired it. So yeah, if your language level is there, you won't need to worry about making those mistakes. If your language level isn't there, then you have some work to do before you start it. Oh, the candidate is from India. Yeah, many candidates from that part of the world speak very, very quickly, and it can be difficult. Medvideo says, how can I join? Well, I've been going for 2.5 hours, Medvideo. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take any more speaking tests. I will also say that if you're really curious, Medvideo, how to join, check the description of the video or any video that I've ever made, and you'll find my Telegram channel. That's where all of the announcements are. Hello, I have a question here. How to know the ideal length expected for the answer? Think of it in terms of time, right? So you can do a little bit of mathematics here. In part 1 of the speaking test, the examiner wants to ask you about 12 questions, and you have about 4 to 5 minutes. So think about it in terms of time. Some people can deliver, 6 clauses in 10 seconds. Other people can only deliver 3 clauses in 30 seconds. Some answers are shorter than others, some are longer than others. And what I would also say is, how do you know this in your real life? When you meet someone for the first time and they say, oh, where are you from? How do you know the ideal length expected for the answer there? You don't. You just answer naturally. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Wales. It's in the United Kingdom. Cool. How long have you been living there? I've been living there all my life. Well, I say that. I spent a bit of time living in a place called Treforest, and also I spent a couple of years in Cardiff. But yeah, the vast majority of my life I've lived in Caerphilly. That's a natural answer. You don't need to worry about the length. You should be naturally developing answers anyway. Candace says, do you know the country Nepal? I believe the capital is Kathmandu, and if anyone knows when Mount Everest is. Yeah, of course, I've heard of Nepal. I think famously the British had a relationship with the Gurkhas, I think. They're from Nepal, I think. Rohit says, when will the next live session, I guess? Next live stream, I don't know, maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks, but all of the announcements about the live stream, all of those can be found on my Telegram channel. That's where I set all of this up. Do you have Telegram? I hope you have Telegram in India and Nepal. I hope I'm not closing off all of these opportunities by hosting things on Telegram. I do have a Facebook group, but it never really got very active, and I stopped using it. So Yeah, I don't know if there are any other burning questions, but yeah, if you want to take part in a future live stream, check out my Telegram channel, Expert Examiner. I will also say that I do paid speaking tests too, sell quite a lot of them. You can have them private or you can have them public. Obviously, the private ones are a bit more expensive than the public ones, but the public ones are very cheap at the moment, £25, and for that you get 1 hour or 45 minutes to 1 hour call with me where we do a speaking test, we have a chat before and after the test. I give you some feedback immediately, and then you get afterwards you get a full feedback video, which is usually about an hour long, again 45 minutes to 60 minutes, full feedback on granular detail, every aspect of your speech. I really think I give the most, well, I know I give the most feedback on YouTube, just statistically. And I think I give the best feedback on YouTube. I don't know anyone else who does this in such detailed. I don't mean the live stream tests, I mean the booked tests, the ones that you can see on my YouTube channel. Really, really useful. A lot of candidates, they go up by 0.5 or even whole bands sometimes based on the feedback that I gave. So that's really useful. The tests will go up in price in February. So yeah, that's just the way it is. I have a lot of examining work to do in February, March, April, and May. Hugely busy testing period. I will still be making content on YouTube. I will still be trying to do these live streams, but yeah, prices for speaking tests will be going back up in February. So if you have been thinking about getting one and thinking maybe I'll do it, I'm not sure. I'm not pushing anyone. If you can't afford it, definitely don't do it. But for me, £25 is an absolute bargain for the service that you get. And I would love to have this service available in, for example, Russian, right? Russian is a language that I learn. I'd love to have a speaking test in Russian and hear an examiner break down every aspect of my speech so I can understand exactly what I need to improve. Anyway, I'm going to stop selling my stuff now. I am planning to make a course soon too, by the way, so I'm interested to see how that goes. But not an expensive one, just cheap, cheerful, easy, nice advice and so on. I don't do much advice, but I want to do a bit more advice this year. Anyway, thank you all for your company. I don't think there are too many people watching now, but thank you for your company over the last 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. More videos from me coming soon, more live streams coming soon. Be in the Telegram, stay up to date. Yeah, I'm going to go and rest my throat now. Thanks for your company.